All right, guys, how are we doing today? Now we are down to the hip. And for the hip, we are going to be looking at the piriformis muscle. Give me 1 second. Let me grab everything I need. All right, piriformis. So basically, the piriformis is going to be this muscle right here, as you can see. The origin of this muscle is the anterior aspect of the sacrum, and the insertion is the superior and medial aspect of the greater trochanter. The nerve that innervates this muscle is the anterior rami of the S1 and the S2. So I'm going to explain this to you guys a little bit more in some simpler terms, easier to understand where this muscle is located so we could go into the movements and actions of the muscle. So as you can see right here, this is going to be a posterior view of it. We have the piriformis. So it's right between our glute min, and then you're going to see it right over here as well. And so it separates our glutes from inferior and superior. So when I get into my next slide, I'll explain that to you a little more. But it's basically this muscle right in between there. I have an anterior view of it because I want to show a little more of that insertion. Um, of that origin. So with the origin, we have that anterior aspect of the sacrum. So it's going to be that area right there. It's going to be right behind our sacrum. And then when we look at the insertion where the superior medial aspects of the greater trochanter, it's going to be right there. So just right there on the side. So basically, the movements that the piriformis is helping us do on a daily basis. External rotation. It also does stabilize the hip joint, and it abducts the hip when the hip is flexed. The main focus is the external rotation. You really don't understand how much you use external rotation. It doesn't mean your hip is fully externally rotated. It's nothing that crazy. I have this picture right here. We can see this dude getting out of the car. Anytime your knee is moving away from your body, your hip is externally rotating. So right here, he is using his piriformis muscle as he's stepping with that leg out. So daily activities I have here are sports, walking, running, stepping stairs, getting out of car. So I'm going to switch to my highlighter because I want to touch base on this. It's actually really cool that I learned this from looking into the piriformis. So as we see, we have a runner right here. And at this moment, he's in his accelerating phase, kind of like that loading phase where he's using this leg. Don't worry about this leg. We're looking at this one. So you're going to see that piriformis is going to be located right there in those glutes. So when this action is happening, the hip is being externally rotated, and the piriformis is one of the main muscles out of all of the muscles that help us run and accelerate, walk, any main of our daily movements. The piriformis is actually one of the main muscles that is contracting and being used as that hip is externally rotating out. And then also in my last slide, how I talked about, or actually up here, how I talked about how it abducts the hip when the hip is flexed. So when that hip is being flexed, um, that leg is being extended, and that's what's allowing that full extension of the leg and that hip to be flexed, and then allowing that piriformis to kind of externally rotate the hip. So here we have the piriformis. So a cool thing I wanted to talk about, I know I said that the nerve that innervates this is the anterior rami of the S1 and the S2, and that's because you'll see on this side that S1 and that S2 right there. But the sciatic nerve actually goes right underneath here, underneath that piriformis. So as we know, our sciatic nerve is one of our main nerves for our back. So when the piriformis is injured, you actually experience not only pain in your glutes, you experience pain in your lower back. And that's why people who sit for like a really long time or have troubles getting up and out of a chair can experience some pain because that sciatic nerve, if that piriformis is damaged or causing issues, then it's pressing against that sciatic nerve, and that's what's causing that lower back pain. So again, I'm going to just show you guys a little bit more. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to zoom in that far. Again, yeah, so it's going to be just this muscle right here. We have that origin, we have that insertion right there over on the greater trochanter, and it is one of our main gluteal muscles. So there you guys go. And that is the piriformis.